everybody. Today I'm going to be making Pfeffernüsse. This is a German spiced iced cookie. It's got a really nice chewiness to it. And well, as a child, the best part is it's completely covered in icing. It was a family favorite. You can find them in all the grocery stores now, but back when I was a kid, they weren't as easy to find. So they'd be more of a specialty store kind of item or a gourmet store. Unfortunately, a lot of the store-bought items have a lot of sort of crummy oils in them. Sorry, distracted by leaping cats. So I'm pretty excited to try and make my own homemade version. So the first thing I need to do is I need to make my spice mixture. The spice mixture is called lebkuchen, I think. Lebkuchen Gewürz? Oh, maybe that's it. Lebkuchen Gewürz. That sounds more correct. Anyway, so it's an authentic spice mixture for German cookies. I'm just gonna get started and make the spice mixture. First ingredient, which is my favorite spice of all time, cinnamon, 2.5 tablespoons. That's a hefty quantity of cinnamon. I approve. The next ingredients I have here are 2 teaspoons of ground cloves, half a teaspoon of allspice, and half a teaspoon of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon of green cardamom ground, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a 1/4 teaspoon of mace. I didn't have any mace in my cupboard, so I went to buy some, and it's dang expensive. Mace is like $12 for 100 grams. I couldn't find star anise at the last minute, so I was able to find anise seed. I'm just going to substitute star anise with ground anise seed. So I've just ground it with my mortar and pestle here. Now, star anise is quite mild in comparison to these anise seeds. So I'm just going to add just a 1/4 teaspoon. I don't want this to be too crazy licorice-y, so I think that's probably good enough. I'm just going to mix it up and put that aside for later. So I'm just getting started on my Pfeffernüsse. First thing I need to do is mix my dry ingredients in a small bowl. I've got 2¼ cups of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground white pepper. This is a 1/4 cup of ground almond meal. And last but not least, the thing that makes it Pfeffernüsse, it is the lebkuchen Gewürz. The lebkuchen Gewürz. I really should have a better grasp of the German language, but I don't. The recipe calls for 3 to 4 teaspoons. I'm going to go big or go home. I'm going to do 4 teaspoons. 4 teaspoons of lebkuchen Gewürz. So I'm just going to give that a stir to combine all the ingredients. Is that not the cutest wooden spoon you've ever seen? I love it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I love tiny tools. Next ingredients go in the saucepan. So we'll be heading over to the stove now. I have my medium-sized saucepan here on medium heat. I'm going to add my brown sugar, my butter, my cream, and my honey. So my first ingredient is half a cup of firmly packed brown sugar. It's clunky. Next ingredient is 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of heavy cream, 1/3 of a cup of honey. So I'm just stirring this mixture until the sugar dissolves. As you can see, it's making a very nice, sugary, buttery, creamy concoction. Oh, you can really smell the honey. It smells amazing. And I used the last of a jar of honey that I had that had crystallized. This is a perfect way to use up crystallized honey that you've had in the cupboard for a couple of months. Everything looks nice and melted in here. I'm just going to set this aside for 5 minutes and then move on to the next step. My sticky sweet syrup mixture has been sitting for 5 minutes. I am now going to add my flour mixture into the saucepan. We're mixing this spicy flour mixture into this very, very liquidy, sort of buttery, creamy mixture. Mix it like this so you can see it a little bit better. Give it a little muscle now. The last step I have to do is just put the egg in. Just mix that into the dough and then we're done. So essentially what we have here is a very sticky cookie dough. So now all I have to do is just turn this dough out onto this piece of saran wrap that I've prepared here. So now I'm just going to kind of form it into a little bit of a pile. Just wrap it all up and just pop that in the fridge overnight I will be baking and icing these tomorrow. Hi everyone, I am back. My Pfeffernüsse dough has been chilling in the fridge overnight. Now I'm going to roll it out into the cookies to bake. First thing I've done was I've already cut it in half. I'm actually going to cut it into 4. And I'm just going to sort of squish it just a little bit with my hands, just to warm it up just a bit, just to make it a little bit easier to roll it out. Essentially what I'm doing, for lack of a better word, is I'm making a log approximately 3/4 to 1 inch wide. You can see that is about what we're looking for. I'm just going to slice these size-wise. That looks about right. What you really want to do is you want to take the slice and you want to squish it a little bit in your hand before you start rolling the ball. So squish, squish, warm it up just a little bit, compress it just a little bit, and then you're just rolling it between your hands into a lovely little ball. Just going to flatten it just a little bit. Place each ball about 1 inch apart on a cookie sheet, and then I'm going to put it in a 350-degree oven for 15 minutes or until just a little bit golden. So I've taken my first batch out of the oven, and as you can see, they kind of look like little mushrooms. They're pretty cute. They smell quite different than gingerbread. I have a feeling it's the anise, because that's not something I normally put in my gingerbread. So I like it. It's different. It's earthy smelling. Okay, I am ready to make my glaze. What I have here is 2.5 cups of icing sugar. I'm going to put 4 tablespoons of hot water into my icing sugar and mix it up until smooth. Perfect. Okay, now the fun part. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip my entire cookie into the icing. Then I'm going to place it here on my cookie cooling rack, and all of the excess icing will get caught by the parchment paper. Forgive the slightly weird angle here, but that's just the way it goes when you're a DIY YouTuber in your own kitchen. All I'm doing is just plopping it in there, and then I'm basically just covering it in icing. And then lifting it out with my spatula, and then just scraping off a little bit of that excess icing, and then placing it right back onto the cooling rack. Isn't that just a thing of beauty? It's so beautiful. And the icing is really nice because it really just coats the top of the cookie in a very nice, smooth way. They really do look like little mushroom caps or little, I don't know, small potatoes. You can't see them, but my cat, Gus, is intently watching me and purring away right in front of me. God, they look gorgeous. Really, really nice. Gus, get your head out of there. Come on. Yeah, that's right. You skedaddle. They're just perfect little shapes, aren't they? Just love them. Just gonna do a little sprinkle on a couple more here. And if you do the sprinkles within about a minute. Icing does start to firm up pretty quickly. Basically, we're gonna wanna leave these overnight so that the icing has time to fully dry. And there you have it, guys. Homemade Pfeffernüsse. These look amazing. No, buddy. It's a really nice spiced cookie. Has great texture. The store-bought ones that we normally buy are quite chewy and almost a bit airy. They've got like a little bit of a, I don't know, just an airiness about them. It's hard to describe. These ones are a bit more dense. My poor cat, he really wants one. These are beautifully spiced. Like, there's nothing to me more disappointing than eating a ginger cookie that doesn't really have enough spiciness to it. These deliver. They've got spiciness, that little bit of white pepper, the anise. If you want to make these cookies for yourself, just head on over to bakewithmetv.com. The recipe will be posted there. If you like what I'm doing here, head on over to my YouTube channel and hit subscribe, and then hit the little bell for notifications, so then you'll never miss a recipe. Cheers, everyone, and have a wonderful day.